Hey everybody, I'm Matt Garstka, and I'm here to share some quick tips with you on how to make your Matt Garstka GGD plugin drums sound a little bit more realistic. That's kind of my thing. I love real sounding drums. So obviously, don't go to 127 on the velocities. Honestly, I don't even get near 120. For me, I end up going into wherever my MIDI is, and I end up kind of selecting all and MIDI transforming and kind of limiting everything, doing a velocity limiter. Max, I go to 112. That's kind of my spot where I'm like, all right, that's the cap. Unless it's like some super aggressive part, but like those samples, maybe up to 115. But like 120 past, that's like live, like just smacking the ever-living Jesus out of drums, if that's even possible. So aside from that, globally, I would say it's really going to help to get these dynamics in order, because it's going to allow you less compression on the back end. And to be honest, like some people have heard, they compress it so much that it doesn't even sound like my drums anymore. So you can really squash a lot of the tone out. But if you kind of have these dynamics in range, because that's what compression is doing. It's trying to squash it, basically. It's trying to cut some off the top and bring the bottoms up. So if you do that before it even goes to compression, you're sitting pretty, as they say. So with open hats, 101 to 103 is kind of where I like to bark it. So like pea soup, when something like that is occurring, once it goes over 101, 103, it starts to like bark and come out way too much in the mix. And so that's something that, compression you're gonna need a crap load of compression after the fact. And so that's what I found. If it's an open sloshy part and it's really aggressive, like go for it, go a little harder. But yeah, that's kind of where I find like the sweet spot is for those open hats, those short little bursts. Moving on to the snare, I've found that the cap for ghost notes for me is kind of 82, 83. And if I'm doing like, more sensitive stuff, I'll allow like some 40, 50, and lower 60 in there. But most times I'm kind of starting in the lower 60s as my bottom, and the top is 82, 83. And FYI, rim shots start at 90, and they're pretty jazzy, kind of groovy, like soft groovy. Around the upper 90s is where I find myself, okay, I'm using those quite a bit. All the way up to, I'd say 109 is kind of where I end up capping it. At 111, there seems to be a change in the room. Something happens where the reverb, maybe they went a little harder on it, the processing, or that's just the moment that the room became more boisterous and responsive to that level of sound pressure. But I'd note I can hear something different happening at 111. So, if I'm doing more aggressive stuff, I'll cap it at 112, just like the global cap that I have. And if I really want to go hard, I'll probably go like 115 or something. For kicks, it's around 109 to 112. And a really important thing for me to note here is the importance of using the double kick, like the actual two kick drums. I'll say it makes a huge difference. And in fact, I can show you right now. I'll put everything, all 16ths, at 107 on the same kick. Okay, now let's vary it. So the left is, you know, or the upbeats are quieter. Yeah. Got to get a pretty big difference there in velocity to start to notice anything. But let's go same velocity and we'll just move it down so that you're using both kicks. Already sounds way better to me. That's way more realistic. And then if we want to get, you know, crafty with, if you're programming at how you're varying this stuff, going a little softer on the left. Huge difference. So that extra realism factor, I highly recommend utilizing that, as there's probably not a lot of plugins that go through the pain of sampling two kick drums that are essentially the same kick drum. They're technically different kick drums, and the left kind of sounds different because, you know, there's a hi-hat attached to it. It's a little more choked, and, you know, you can't tune two different drums the same exact pitch. So yeah, utilize that. For the toms, 108 for me, for power, is like that sort of thing, or like, but when I'm going like, that's whenever I kind of realize, okay, I can't be up in the 100 realm. I gotta be, cap is like kind of 96 for those fast rolls around the toms. And yeah, that's kind of my tips as far as dynamics go. And yeah, like I said, the more that you kind of on the front end handle these dynamics with care and kind of like tidy up the low ends and the high end of dynamics, the less compression you'll have to utilize, and the more kind of real it's gonna sound, guys. And it'll sound more unique too, because, you know, a lot of people, they're just using compressing the hell out of the drums to, you know, make this sound, but it's like, it's the same sound everyone has. So take what you will from that. Peace. I hope that helped.